Okay, hi, I'm back. This is part two of my keratoconus experiences. So I was just briefly saying, well, not briefly, it was a pretty long video, but I was just talking about how I went to several doctors and basically the end result of all those appointments was that my right eye needed a corneal transplant. So I just recently went to the doctor a few months, not even a few months ago. I want to say it was a month ago, maybe even less. So I just went to the eye doctor for a consult, and I was there for 4 hours. So that wasn't a whole lot of fun. It was really tiring just being there for that long and having all those tests done. So I went home and napped because it was not very fun. So basically, I will be getting a transplant in a couple weeks. So in a couple weeks, I will be getting a transplant, and I hope to make some videos, beforehand, right before, just talking about how I feel, um, right after, if I'm able to. I know that for this one, I'm able to watch TV, so I don't see why making a video would be a problem, um, but it won't be as high quality, and I won't be as dressed up. But anyway, so in a couple of weeks, I will be getting a transplant. So what that is they remove, obviously, the section of the cornea, and they replace it with a donor cornea. And the one I'm getting in particular, they do a laser cut, which allows for a stronger bond of your wounds, so it heals a little bit better and a little bit faster. And also, we're trying for a partial replacement, partial transplant. There you go. But with anything, there's a risk that that's not possible. So I might have to go with the full corneal transplant. And I can't really tell you the exact details just because I'm unfamiliar with it, quite honestly, about what's the difference between the partial and the full transplant. But with anything, there is a margin of error, and it may be possible that I'll have that partial done, but it also may be that I have to get the full transplant. So we will see. And the difference with that is healing time, and the partial lasts longer than the full transplant. So yeah. So I will be getting a transplant very soon in my right eye, and then about a month later, or maybe a month or two later, I will get corneal cross-linking in my other eye, and that is another treatment option. But that is a study. It's not FDA approved yet, so you have to go to a doctor that is able to do that as part of the study. But I need to look up just to give you the details because, again, I'm kind of unfamiliar with the procedure. I just know that it's going to, it doesn't make your vision better. That's the one thing about the transplant will, but the cross-linking won't. It stabilizes your vision, so it won't get any worse, but your vision won't get better either. So corneal cross-linking is where they take, it increases collagen, which are natural anchors in the cornea, and they do this by putting custom-made riboflavin drops to your cornea, and then they use an ultraviolet light to activate those. And what I've been told is this is the kind of more painful procedure. I don't want to turn people off to treatments. I don't want you to be scared. That's why I want to. Show my experience and do kind of a vlog, although I'm not going to take my phone and shoot it while I'm there, but I want to take people along the ride with me so they know really what they're going into, but I don't want to deter people from getting the treatments. I heard that cross-linking is a little bit more painful because they remove the first layer of skin, which sounds really creepy, but if you really think of how many layers of skin we have, and in total, it's not that scary, but it will be a little bit painful because of that. So they do that, and that's the procedure where I'm not able to watch TV or read or anything. So that won't be too fun. I will have to wait a few days before I'm able to um, make a video about that experience after that. But that's going to be a month or two after I get my transplant. So now that I have discussed my transplant and everything, I will try to fill you in on what I've had to deal with my keratoconus. As I've said, I've been uncomfortable driving, so I'm going to check the time on my camera again because it's limited to how much time I can have. Okay, so anyway, so as I said, I've been too scared to drive, and that has definitely made it really, really hard for a lot of things. And like, it's gonna sound kind of pathetic, but it's made hard to get jobs. I've not been able to really have a job, but I am doing my own business, and that's part of the reason, because I wanted to do something that I could do from home and not really have to depend on other people to do it. So I can't drive, so that makes it really hard with getting a job. It makes it really hard just like getting out, keeping friendships. I hate feeling like I'm a burden to people, and that's kind of what I've had to feel for a long time, and it stings. And I may not be the only person who has to deal with this, but I know that people with keratoconus can drive, but I just chose not to. It scared me way too much. So, yeah, I hated feeling like I was a burden, and I still do. Like, my parents live in 2 different states, so they have to drive me or find a way to get me to one another if I want to go visit them. And, it's just a burden for them, and I feel bad. So, that's with my driving. With school, it kind of made it it made it difficult in the sense that if I wanted to sit further back in the classroom, I really couldn't. I mean, I could, but I'd be squinting a lot. My face would kind of hurt after class because I'd be squinting and kind of would make my cheeks hurt. So it made it harder to take notes fast. Yeah, I think that is part of what made it hard for me to take notes fast. In college, taking notes, I would want to take really meticulous notes, but my handwriting would be kind of hard to make look meticulous if I did it real quickly, because I couldn't really see, so I'd have to like squint down and be real precise with my movements. And then, which I've always had trouble with my fine motor skills back to when I was in like first grade. So maybe that was part of it too, but I think my vision had to deal with some of it. Let's see here. It's kind of painful, my condition that I have now. Not really in my right, I'm not in my left eye, but since my right eye is so advanced, it's painful sometimes. Like, my eyelid rubs up against it, or like when I'm sleeping, I wake up and my eye is really sore and I hadn't really been rubbing on it. That's another thing. So if you have keratoconus, and even if you don't, you shouldn't rub on your eyes. If you have keratoconus, do not rub on your eyes, for sure. It will only make your vision worse. It will only worsen your condition, so don't do that. I mean, I think we're all guilty of rubbing our eyes every once in a while, but I've gotten much better at it. When I was really, really young, I used to, but I don't really anymore. So, yeah, it's painful sometimes. I wake up and my eye is kind of sore. It feels like I like scraped it almost. My vision's really, really poor because I have a lot of scarring. If you have keratoconus, you can get a lot of scarring on your eye, and just the misshapen nature of my cornea makes it hard to see. Let's see here. I know I have a lot more to say, so I'm sorry that I'm kind of slow and it's not super interesting, but I'm just trying to tell my whole experiences. I did go to school for arts, so I didn't really tell my professors that I had this condition until I was up for this thing called review, where you had to, for this program, you didn't have to go in having an art portfolio, but you needed to, after your first year, or like a year and a half in, you had to be ready. But I joined my sophomore year into the art department. So my junior year, I had to do the review. And I told people in my essay just like why I'm not necessarily on par with the rest of my classmates. And I didn't tell my teachers because I didn't really want them to see that I was using it as a crutch. I kind of wanted to just stand on my own. And I did that for the most part. I mean, there were some projects that were really hard and needed some help on, but I kept that hidden from my, my major teachers until my junior year because I didn't want them to think that I was using it as an excuse to not do well. Although I had people treat me really, one teacher treated me really bad, oh, does that affect, I was doing, I don't want to say because I'm not going to say. I'll cut that out. So, anyway, yeah, it hurts sometimes. I didn't want to use it as a crutch. Oh, here's the last thing that I want to say. So, I probably have a whole lot more to say, and I'm going to, definitely be making videos of how I feel before my surgery and how I feel after it, and my experiences. Is my vision getting better? Then my second procedure, I'll let you know how that feels and the experience of that. And I want to be able to give a resource to people who have this condition. I don't know if I'm the only one who has this, and making these videos actually are probably going to be really good for me too, because, maybe people can let me know if they have this as well. But I'm a little bit nervous about losing my identity as someone with keratoconus after I get the surgeries. And I told my dad this, and he doesn't really understand because he doesn't have the condition, and maybe I am weird. Maybe people with this condition don't experience this, but I have had this condition for at least 6 years. I mean, I probably had it longer. It just wasn't diagnosed then. And I've been used to being the artist with the visual impairment and having that kind of as my, amazing thing that I've done. And now I'm now I'm getting kind of upset, actually. I'm sorry, I'm a really sensitive person. Now I'm going to be getting that corrected, and I just don't want to lose my identity. I mean, sure, it will probably help my art and everything, but I've lived with it, and that's been a part of who I was for so long. But yeah. So I'm excited for it because I know that it will help. I will be able to drive eventually and, live a more normal life than I am now. But, it does scare me a little bit more than, of course I'm a little bit afraid of the pain and everything, and I'll make a video before my surgery telling you exactly how I feel on that day. And, but of course I'm a little bit afraid of that, but I have a relatively high pain tolerance, and I know that it's better in the long run, and I feel like it'll be alright. But I'm kind of just a little bit afraid of losing who I am, because it is a part of me. So, that's all I have time for. That's all I have to say so far. I'm sorry that I'm kind of welling up because of that, but, yeah, I will take you on my wonderful journey of corneal transplants and corneal cross-linking, and I hope that this helps you. Okay, see you later. Bye.